Hello everyone, welcome back to Liquid Talent TV. Special guest Andy Pascal from Blue State Digital, the Senior Director of Business Development, is joining us this morning.
Good to be here.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Of course.
Tell us, what does Blue State Digital do?
Blue State Digital is a full-service digital agency and technology company that provides a wide range of services, obviously digital focus for a diverse portfolio of nonprofits, advocacy organizations, large brands, and also some political campaigns.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And as Business Development Director, it's about drumming up new accounts, new clients.
Yep. So my responsibility actually is bringing in new business on the corporate side, the brand versus side. So we have that diverse portfolio. I focus on the brands, trying to scale out that portfolio and sort of apply a lot of the methodologies and tactics and services that we use for nonprofits and advocacy organizations and political campaigns to the brand side.
Very cool. Very cool. Is business going well?
Business is good. Yeah, it's been a good year. So I hit my year mark today. Actually,
Happy 1 year for Andy.
Yeah. So it's been a good year. We've brought on some new brand logos, which has been good.
Yeah.
Traditionally not the bulk of what we've done, so it's been a good challenge because we're sort of, just a little history about Blue State has campaign roots. So it's been around 10 years. The co-founder and current CEO came off the Howard Dean campaign. He was also tapped for new media director for both Obama presidential campaigns, and founded Blue State years ago. So we're sort of known as the Obama guys for a long time. So had a lot of chops and sort of street cred in politics and nonprofits, less so on the brand side. So while we've had a few large-scale engagements to date, we're really trying to expand that part of the portfolio, which is what I've been doing.
Yep.
And so we've had some good wins this year.
Yeah. What you don't think about necessarily campaigning in the digital world, but you guys have really kind of defined that space and put together such an incredible campaign for Obama. Twice.
Yeah.
And congratulations on 2 victories.
I wasn't part of it, but I can brag about it. Yeah.
What were a couple of takeaways from those two efforts in Blue State with Obama? What worked?
Sure.
And maybe where's that going? What does 2016, 2020 elections look like?
So I can't necessarily speak to sort of like where I think it's going from a political election standpoint, but I can tell you that the principles from political campaigns, specifically around community mobilization, are key for the brand side. So if you think about the thread that runs across all these verticals, it's activating, mobilizing a community of supporters to then take specific actions. So if you think about for the Obama campaigns, right? I'm sure everybody was on the emails. They raised $500 million, communicate with tens of millions of people, take a specific action, donate X amount, sign this petition, and it was very segmented and targeted based on what your interests were: healthcare, economy, etc. So if you take that sort of idea of segmentation and getting the right message to the right people and getting them to take specific actions, that's applicable across all verticals. If I'm a nonprofit and I'm trying to fundraise, I'm asking you to take specific actions through multiple channels. If I'm an advocacy organization, getting you to sign a petition to change legislation, that's mobilizing the community. If I'm a brand and I'm trying to get more advocates for my brand, that's the same principle. Mobilize the community, get them to take specific steps, move them up. What we call that ladder of engagement from casual observer to evangelist. Right. It's very methodical, it's very deliberate, and it applies across the board. So if I'm a brand, and that's something that we've done with our brands today for business that we brought on, and saying like these principles work. This community mobilization, community activation works, and will get people to champion your brand by asking them to do specific things that resonate with them. Yeah,
I think defining that conversion and knowing that funnel, not just being a passive observer of that path, but knowing how to get from point A to point B is so important.
And personalization. Like I want to be able to interact with content that resonates with me. So again, going back to the political example, if I'm really focusing on healthcare, like send me content about healthcare. If I'm a brand, and if I'm Beats by Dre or something like that, they were on the news. They just
Apple.
Apple. Just got bought. If I'm interested in a particular set of headphones, and I'm going to be your champion, and there's all this kind of like direct that at me. Like there's an audience for everything. You just got to find it, segment it, and get some really good content from them.
Well said. Andy has come from a career at Google, over to Foursquare, and now at Blue State Digital. very successful in his path. For our viewers out there who are thinking about career changes or doing something differently with their professional energy, what are some tips and tricks or advice you might have for someone in that mode?
Well, I think the first one is, and I know you can appreciate this,
Yeah.
I've become from Google, is sort of get out of your comfort zone a bit. I think it's easy to stay somewhere. For me, example, Google was a great experience. I think for me, I wanted to challenge that was a smaller environment. And when I went to Foursquare, there was no sales team yet. So there was then an advisor who then became the chief revenue officer who was looking for sort of a small SWAT team to get going and help the initial monetization efforts. That seemed like a cool opportunity, something I hadn't done before, very different from the Google experience. Blue State was something where I hadn't done the agency thing before. They needed to beef out a corporate practice that needed somebody with that sort of background to do. Worked across sort of multiple products and services. That was a new experience, and also knowing that there's really like a do-gooder mentality there, people that want to work on stuff that actually affects change in the world, which is very appealing to me. So kind of going back to your original question, I think it's to continue to challenge yourself with things that you think might be interesting, and sometimes they'll take it, sometimes they won't, but I think it's important to take some risks, some calculated risks. If something looks interesting and you meet the people there and it sort of just feels like a good fit, it's worth doing. It's sort of a scary prospect. I mean, you're starting a company. You sort of take it to that next level beyond what I've been doing, which I think is great. But I think it's good to try something, and at some point something may not work anymore for you, and that's okay, and that's what you know about yourself, and you can sort of check that box. And I think you just continue to expand yourself. So push yourself a little bit, get yourself out of the comfort zone. You'll have some wins, you'll have some losses, but you won't have any regrets.
Totally, that's perfect. Andy's a dear friend. We're really lucky to have him in this morning. I'd love to have you on the show again, my friend.
Love to.
Words of wisdom. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, sometimes I even take them myself. Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay,
cool.
All right.
Awesome.